Welcome, guys. How are you doing today, Mo?
I'm good, can't complain. How's everything with you, Saj?
Everything is good. Excited to be back here.
Absolutely. We had an amazing first episode.
Yeah, it went good. Great feedback.
Absolutely. Some criticism, but
Yeah,
I'm open for it.
I love constructive criticism is my favorite.
Absolutely, man. It allows us to perfect what we're
Mhm.
doing. Allows us to kind of iron out the things that we don't know yet. I think I spent, a good solid day on YouTube just learning about audio, video mixing, and all that stuff.
That's good.
Learn something new.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so we're just going to jump into today's topic, how to save money at weddings, because weddings can get very expensive.
Especially in the South Asian market.
Especially in the Washington DC South Asian market.
So, first thing I want to talk about, Saj, is what are some of the best days of the year to kind of host a wedding?
Yeah, there's always an off-season and an in-season. Off-season and DMV based, where we are based in the DMV, would be November to end of March. November to end of March, every vendor will give you a better deal than they would from April to October.
Even in 2022 and 2023, it's been the craziest wedding year.
Even in 2022 and 2023, in-season and off-season pricing, a vendor will definitely work with you more if you are in off-season.
Got it. So, off-season, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about winter months mostly.
Yeah,
it's going to be cold.
Yep.
From a photography standpoint, I kind of find that as a benefit. Right, my bride and grooms aren't sweating as they're walking around through DC and all that stuff. So that's definitely a big plus for my clientele. I don't know about you guys and all that stuff, but from us, I love winter months.
Yeah.
Snow,
especially if it's snowing, you can get really pretty pictures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But
so,
I am personally a person. I'd rather be cold than hot. I hate mid-June. 4 p.m., 3 p.m. weddings, outdoor weddings.
Ceremonies that, 2-3 hour ceremonies in the blazing sun. Cameras are overheating. Guests are overheating and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. Speaking about that, funny story, this past summer we did a live stream and we wanted to do a live stream of the wedding ceremony, but cameras overheated.
Yep.
We couldn't live stream anything.
Yeah, it honestly, it's one of the more difficult factors when you're thinking about summer weddings and all, especially like longer events. Like we use all professional grade equipment and all that. However, electronics get hot, right? Things get hot, and sometimes it's out of our control and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but great point. Winter weddings just as fun. What about days of the week? Is there certain days that are cheaper?
Do not pick a Saturday if you have a certain budget. Fridays and Sundays, yes, are better than a Saturday. But if you can go for a weekday.
But bro, I'm trying to party though.
You can party on a Sunday.
But I got work in the morning, on Monday, like.
It's your wedding. You can take a few days
off.
Not
me, but my guests, like.
If they love you, they will take a day off for you.
Dang, you're gonna throw it out like that?
Yes. If they love you, guys, if they do not take a day off for you, if they can't, I understand there's some sort of special circumstances, but if they can and they don't take a day off for you, that really speaks a lot to me.
Shots fired. Cool. So, talking about booking in terms of like off season and all that stuff, right? I'm sure it'll help if they book ahead of time as well, rather than like 2-3 months right before the event.
For sure. Everybody who books in advance, like right now, if you're booking my venue right now, I'll lock you in for my 2022 or even 2023 price if you're booking for 2024.
Dang, you're going to give me a hookup like that?
I got you. So if you're booking for 2024, we haven't released our 2024 pricing yet, so we'll give you 2023. If you book me right now before the end of the year, we'll give you, for 2023, we'll give you 2022 pricing. Yep. Every vendor will do that. You book them in advance, you'll get a much better price. Versus you book them a few months before your wedding.
Yeah, that goes same with the photography business, right? We normally raise our prices at the end of every year. We got to counter with inflation, gas prices, cost of labor going up, equipment's getting more expensive and all that stuff, maintaining and all that stuff. And most importantly, growth, right? growth of a studio or any vendor group, I'm sure when you guys offer new services and all that stuff, prices increase as well, right?
Yep.
So
food cost and labor cost has gone up so much in this past.
And I'm sure
year.
you guys see it when you guys go to the grocery store, gas pumps, and all that stuff, right? Us vendors are no different. A lot of us, this is our livelihoods,
Of course.
Right? So we got to feed our own selves. And on top of that, commute, sometimes 3 hours plus to your weddings and all that stuff. And I don't know how you guys do it with the catering business. Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, having to drive a couple hours with food and all that stuff as well. So,
especially speaking about inflation while we're talking about it, in the last how many ever years we've been doing this, there's a clause in every catering contract that, like, if there's a crazy market jump up, you can activate that clause and you have to raise pricing, because it's not possible for me to give you the same food cost pricing that I've already given you if the market cost is double.
That's true.
I
went to Costco the other day. They're out of eggs. There's like an egg shortage going on right now, right?
Yeah.
Like normally, like I literally walked in. I was like, "Hey, where are the eggs?" So I'm sure that affects the catering side
For
somewhat.
sure.
And all
So I've never had to activate that until this year, because I've given everybody a good time, like 2 months in advance. I'm like, hey, there's no way I can give you the same pricing that I gave you because of the market. And thankfully, luckily, everybody understood and we worked it out.
Got it. That's awesome. So in terms of booking in advance, right? So that's a great way to save some money. What about prioritizing vendors, right? Like, are there certain vendors that, you can kind of either remove or, may be a little bit further down the list? Like, what's kind of your take on that?
Yeah, for sure. Do you really need that for the photo booth for 6 hours?
Cakes?
Do you need a cake? Get a fake cake and get a sheet cake. Have the caterer cut it.
Jinx.
Nobody will know. Do you really need that floor wrap?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but if you have
from
certain
a
budget,
photo perspective, bro, those floor wraps are especially on the Manly Day, right?
Yeah.
Kind of imagine this, right? You have this beautiful magenta, cyan, all these beautiful colors, like the Manly Day colors, like the yellows, the oranges, the pinks, and all that, right? And it ties into your floor wrap. It makes it pop.
It makes a big difference. But again, don't go over budget. Stay within the budget. That if you want to save money, don't go for a floor wrap.
Or find if it's the value, right?
Yeah.
If you value it more than the cost of it, absolutely go for it, right? I think it's a conversation to have with the family, your fiance, your significant other. Figure out what is the right value to cost savings, right? Find the balance between the two.
For sure. What about DIY?
Awesome way to save some money. Depends on the event, right? I think if you're doing like a dholki or a haldi day at home, I think that's a great opportunity to save some costs and all, rather than getting a decorator or a caterer. Fire up the grill, throw some chicken tikkas on it. Serve the family that's there and all. But on a major event, it's just a lot more hectic, right?
For sure.
I've seen it, working events and all that stuff. Brides, family members are arriving 3-4 hours early just to make sure the decor is set up and all that, right? I'd rather have the mom, the dad, the brother or sister with the bride and groom doing their getting ready photos, right? Stuff that makes an impact in their final album and all that stuff, right? Spend that a little bit extra money on the decor side. I think it'll be less stressful and more enjoyable for you
For
guys.
sure. Get a decorator, give them everything you need, give them your budget, and you can always find a decorator that will work with you in your budget. I will never recommend DIYing your wedding or reception. It's so much more hectic.
Imagine if you forget something.
It's if you think you're not gonna be anxious and you're not gonna have anxiety, you're wrong. You are gonna be really anxious. You're not gonna have fun. You're gonna be there 2 hours after your wedding, still cleaning up. If you're DIYing flowers, centerpieces, and all that.
No, that's an awesome point. Speaking of flowers, another great area to save some costs, right? Fake versus real.
Fake flowers, fake flowers, fake flowers. If you are on a budget, real flowers can get, yes, I know they're very, very pretty.
And they smell nice.
Yeah, they smell great. But fake flowers are 1/3 of the price that you can get real flowers for. And you can always rent fake flowers. There are a lot of websites and companies out there that ship all over the US, some even all over the world, where you can pick your custom colors and tell them this is what you want, and they'll make a fake arrangement and with bouquets and centerpieces, they'll ship it out, you use it, and you ship it back.
That's a solid business idea. Whoever thought of that is a complete genius.
Yeah.
Right? Like rent a flower. Like
yeah. And they reuse it.
Yeah. That's absolutely. What about like, seasonal flowers and stuff like that,
seasonal
right? Like
flowers
I'm
too.
sure wintertime roses are a lot more expensive than they would be in peak season. I don't know what's considered a winter flower, but
yeah, I don't know that too much about flowers, but I have had a bride ask me for sunflowers in the winter, and of course that's gonna get that's not coming from this area.
Yeah,
that's obviously being shipped internationally, maybe. And who's paying that cost? You guys are.
Yeah, no, very true. What about different types of flowers, right? Roses are definitely more expensive. If you're set on doing real flower arrangement, look at alternatives: baby breasts, hydrangeas, daisies. There's tons of different flowers. Doesn't always need to be roses.
Yeah. Be transparent with your florist. Tell them, or decorator, tell them this is your budget, and they will show you stuff that you can do in your budget.
Absolutely. And I don't think that only goes for decor though.
That goes with every vendor. I think
for every vendor, even from photo video perspective, like if you guys reach out to me, tell me, hey, this is the budget that I'm working with, what can we do? I'll make some recommendations. It may not be the vision board that you guys had in your mind for your wedding. Like if you're on YouTube, Pinterest, and trying to look at, the best of the best weddings, and you want to do it within $500,000, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna tell you guys that's not realistic. We'll work with you guys to create a package that fits your needs and all that stuff, right?
If you want to save money and if you have a budgeted wedding, get off Instagram, get off Pinterest, and start talking to vendors. Give them this is your budget, and either they'll work with you or they won't. I love when somebody tells me, hey, this is my budget, I have to work within this, rather than going back and forth and back and
absolutely.
forth.
Yeah, 100%. I'd rather know your budget and spend hours and hours on negotiation and not get anywhere at the end of it, right? So let us know. Transparency goes both ways. I'm here to help you guys, and I want to make sure that you guys are happy with the product that you receive from us.
Yeah, for sure. So, what about lower guest count, Did we already talk about that?
No, but that's a solid idea. Can you imagine none of the aunties and uncles walking around with like iPads?
I know that's your favorite. But yeah, lower guest count is a big thing. The more people you have at your wedding, the more money you're going to spend, the more stomachs and mouths you have to feed, and it can get expensive.
Yeah, from food cost, plates, chairs, rentals, all that stuff. And then it kind of segue from lowering like guest costs. Also, like look into like all-inclusive venues, like caterers that have venues, right? I'm sure there's some sort of cost savings there as well.
Yeah, for sure. An all-inclusive venue will save you much more money rather than, when you go to a venue that has nothing, a blank canvas, you might think that is a cheaper cost, but at the end of the day, after dealing with rental companies and caterers that are bringing in everything and taking out, there's some venues that don't even have a dumpster. You have to take trash out, and you got to bring ice in and take the ice back or whatever. Those things add up. Rather than a venue that has a catering team that can cater everything, that can provide everything. A much better option, much cheaper option.
Yes. Yeah, and those Shaadi chairs are not cheap to rent.
It's a $10 per chair rental.
It's insane. I rented it for my sister's wedding or my cousin's wedding. It was a costly number.
For sure.
So
at White's Ferry Manor, we give you Shaadi chairs.
Plug. No, that's awesome though. So kind of coming back to tying all this back together, right? So lower guest count sounds like it makes a significant impact to the bottom line, right? As a planner, what is one of the better ways to kind of get a breakdown of the cost of the entire wedding? Do you kind of look at it like as a big number at the bottom? Do you look at it as like a per person cost? What's kind of like your tip for that?
Yeah, of course. One of my first questions during the initial consultation is, what is the total that you guys want to spend? What is the total you can spend? But also, while in my budget, if you have a good wedding planner, they will do this for you. They will give you a total per person cost. In budgeting, you have fixed costs and variable costs. Like venue and catering will be always variable, rather than your DJ and photo booth, photographer. Those are your fixed costs. Those don't number of hours they change, but not depending on guest count.
Well, from a photo perspective, right? The only time guest count really increases would be like if we need to get a second photographer, second videographer, right?
Or thirds.
Yeah, right. So if we're covering, a wedding above 125, right? If our clients are asking like, hey, we want detailed coverage, like candid shots of the party, we're gonna need that second photographer, that second videographer, right? As the number gets bigger, we're gonna need more photographers, more editing time to edit those additional photos and all that stuff. So there's a small fluctuation, but it's not a variable cost in terms of like once we have that original consultation, we'll have a pretty good idea of what you're looking for and all.
Yeah. Yeah, so rather than catering, catering will always give you a per person price. So you gotta, always add that in your budget.
No, awesome. So I think we shared some really great tips this episode. If you guys feel like we didn't cover anything or you guys feel like we missed something, put it down in the comment section. We definitely want to hear it. I believe we may work on a part 2 on this once we get some additional feedback.
If you or a bride or groom that saved, or a family member that saved at your wedding and you have an insider tip, put it in the comments. Help us make another episode. Help the other people listening and watching. And yeah, if you have a better idea how to save money at a wedding, put it in the comments.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us today on the Wedding Podcast. This is Mo.
Yeah, this is Sahaj. I hope you guys all have a good night, morning, evening, day, whatever you guys are doing. Have fun doing it, and good luck.
And keep chasing your dreams, guys.